Good evening, ladies. We're gathered here today for a very, very special interactive session. And by interactive, I mean that there's going to be a very, very powerful presentation that Mr. Richard St. John is going to be running us through. And we're really looking forward to watching it and I think imbibing a lot from it. As you all know, the book being discussed as part of the presentation is it's called 8 to be Great, the 8 traits successful people have in common. And this, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, is an international best-selling book by Mr. Richard St. John, and we have such an immense pleasure having him amongst us today this evening. Before Mr. Richard takes over, I'm going to be just very shortly giving you a very short summary about the book. Based on 10 years of research, 500 face-to-face interviews with extraordinary people, including Bill Gates, Martha Stewart, Richard Branson, Jane Goodall, and the Google founders. This book brings you the essence of the qualities that successful people have and inculcate. What is unique about this book, which makes it completely different from most other similar books, is that the matter is presented carefully in a funny manner, which makes reading the book both enjoyable as well as educative. And well, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Richard St. John is a successful analyst, an author, a speaker. He gives keynote speeches all around the world, and his talks on the web have been seen by millions. On the prestigious TED.com website, his talk is in the 20 top most viewed out of 700 great talks. And he's also shared the stage with Richard Branson, Mr. Bill Gates, and General Davis Petraeus. And it's, like I said, it's such a pleasure having him here with us. I think what he's going to be doing is, through the medium of this audio-visual presentation, which is to follow, he's going to be sending out a very, very strong message about the book to all of you. So I'd urge all of you to kindly switch your cell phones off and post the presentation. If there are any questions that you'd like to put forward, Mr. Richard would be more than happy to take it. For now, a round of applause for Mr. Richard St. John, everybody.
Ooh, thank you very much, Swala, for that introduction. It's hard to live up to it, but I'll try. And I might say that the screen is much more important than me, so you don't have to look at me. You can keep looking at the screen. It's more interesting. And it's great to be here in Mumbai. Let me just get the AV working here. There we go. It's great to be here in Mumbai. Actually, my reason for coming over here was to run a marathon at Mount Everest Base Camp, which we did a week ago. So if I start to cough during this presentation, it's because I still have the Kumbu cough from Mount Everest. So, but hopefully I won't have to cough too much. And I'd like to thank Crosswords for inviting me here. It's great to be here in a bookstore like this. And I'd like to thank Sohan Lakhani, my publisher in India, for a big hand to Sohan. That's right. Sohan's published my book now in English, Hindi, and Tamil, and I think there's another language coming soon. So thanks a lot, Sohan, for helping spread the 8 traits. Is the audio fine at this level? Okay. If you can't hear me, put your hand up and I'll try and speak up. Let me just start my recorder so I can remember what I said. And my subject is success. So people sometimes call me a motivational speaker. But I want you to know right up front, I'm not a motivational speaker. I couldn't pass the height requirement. All these guys like Tony Robbins are 10 feet tall. And I couldn't motivate anybody. My employees actually call me a demotivational speaker. I figure what I am is an informational speaker. I went out and found out some information about success, and I'm just here to pass it on. My story started over 10 years ago on a plane. I was on my way to the TED conference in California, and in the seat next to me was a teenage girl, and she came from a really poor family, but she wanted to get somewhere in life. As I tapped away on my Mac, she kept asking me questions. And out of the blue, she asked, "Are you successful?" I said, "No, I'm not successful." Terry Fox, there's a big success. He lost a leg to cancer and then ran thousands of miles and set a record for raising money for cancer research. Or Richard Branson, a guy who owns his own plane and doesn't have to sit next to some kid asking him questions. That's what I call success, but not me. But then I told her about some of the things I'd done. I achieved some success as a corporate employee when I worked at Nortel Networks Research and Development Labs for 10 years. I was a member of scientific staff doing research, design, and marketing. And then I achieved success as an entrepreneur when I started my own marketing company. And here we are 30 years later, still going strong. And we do a lot of work for companies like BlackBerry, mostly high-tech companies. I've won some of the top marketing awards in the world, including Best Corporate Video in the world, and an IABC Gold Quill, which I'm told is the most prestigious award in business communications. When it comes to sports, I have a black belt in judo, which I got when I was 16, and I was the youngest Canadian to ever be promoted to black belt at the time. And at age 22, I cycled for a year. I had a traveling scholarship. Got a 10-speed bicycle in 1970, before most of you were born, and cycled for a year through Asia. And I actually cycled from Calcutta across India, took me 3 months, to Mumbai in 1970. My butt still hurts. Altogether, I did over 15,000 kilometers, which is halfway around the world. And when I got back, my story appeared on television and magazines and things like that. But my real passion when it comes to sports is running, and I still sometimes win my age group, old guys over 60. And I've run a 42-kilometer marathon in 2 hours and 43 minutes, which is pretty fast for a marathon. I've run over 50 marathons on all 7 continents. This is a run my wife and I did up the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu in Peru. This is a run we did on the Great Wall of China. And to qualify for the 7 continents, we had to run a marathon in Antarctica. But when we got there, it didn't look nice and calm like this. It looked like this. The waves were so high, we couldn't get to shore. So we ended up running the entire marathon. We sailed 200 miles further south to where the seas were calm, ran the entire marathon on the boat. 422 laps around the deck of that little boat, 42 kilometers. Took about 10 hours. But the weather was great. We were in shorts, t-shirt, there were whales and penguins. It was a beautiful day.